Good morning, children. So, in my last video, we studied about force. We studied about different types of bodies. We studied about what will happen when we apply force on different types of bodies. We studied about different types of motion, that is transitional motion, rotational motion. We studied moment of force. We studied couple. We studied moment of couple. Now we are coming to equilibrium of bodies. So, what is equilibrium of bodies? So, equilibrium, say, if a body is at rest, that doesn't mean that there are no forces acting on the body. Let me take one example here. I'll take one example. I'll take one block on the table. Okay, it doesn't mean that the body is at rest now. It doesn't mean that there are no forces acting on this body. So there will be a force which is acting on the table, which is nothing but the weight, and because of this weight, there will be a reaction from the table on the block or on the book, which we call it as reaction. This is simple third law of Newton, or Newton's third law. So this is the action and this is the reaction. So there are two equal and opposite forces which are acting on the body, but along the same line. So what does it show? That the net effect of both these forces is equal to 0. Therefore, this body is at rest. So this situation where the net effect of all the forces is equal to 0 is called as equilibrium of bodies. In equilibrium of bodies, there are two types of equilibrium of bodies. Once again, one is static equilibrium and other one is dynamic equilibrium. So, as the name itself is indicating that what is static equilibrium? If the body is at rest, upon the action of number of forces whose net effect of the forces will be equal to 0, then we say that the body is in static equilibrium. In the same way, if a body is in motion and there are number of forces acting on the body, the number of forces are acting on the body whose net effect of all the forces and net effect of all the moment of forces is also equal to 0, then we call it as the body is in dynamic equilibrium. Now we can quote lots of examples to understand, to make you understand what is static equilibrium and what is dynamic equilibrium. So static equilibrium is whenever, say, if the same example as I gave you. A book is on the table. Here there are two forces acting on the body or on the book. One is the weight acting in the downward direction, and the reaction due to the table which is acting on the book is acting in the upward direction, where W is equal to R. W is equal to R. So this weight, if we take a positive in the downward direction, negative in the upward direction, then the net effect of both these forces will be equal to 0, and the book is said to be in static equilibrium. The book is said to be in static equilibrium. In the same way, we can give different examples. When you take a beam balance, when you put weights on one side of the pan, on one side of the balance in one pan or in the right pan, and you keep some material or some another type of same amount of weights in the left pan, then you see that both the beam balance will be in balance or in equilibrium. So what is happening here? You have applied weights or equal weights on both sides of the pans, so which will balance the beam balance. So the beam balance will be in equilibrium. You have forces acting on both the sides. Even then, the beam balance is at rest. So what is happening here? The net effect of both these forces will be equal to 0, or the net effect of both these moments of forces will be equal to 0. So these are the examples you can quote for static equilibrium. So the examples I can quote for dynamic equilibrium is, so whenever a raindrop is falling, so from our basic studies what we understand, as it is moving towards the surface of the earth, its velocity should increase. That means it should go on accelerating, but that raindrop will be moving with constant velocity. Why it is moving with uniform velocity or constant velocity? Because of the resistance of the air. So this force or the force of gravity is being balanced by the air resistance or the force due to the air resistance. So the net effect of both these forces will be equal to 0 and the raindrop will be moving with constant velocity. This is the best example I can give you for dynamic equilibrium. So this is what is the equilibrium of bodies. So what is the equilibrium of bodies? Whenever two or more forces are acting on the body and when the net effect of these forces is equal to 0, we say that the body is in equilibrium. So the equilibrium of bodies can be broadly classified into two, that is static equilibrium and dynamic equilibrium. What is static equilibrium? If a body is at rest upon the action of number of forces, then we say that the body is in static equilibrium. So I have given the example for this, for the static equilibrium here. And same way, we have one more type of equilibrium, that is dynamic equilibrium. So whenever a body is in motion and whose type of motion is not affected by the different forces acting on that body, then that equilibrium or that same state of motion, we call it as dynamic equilibrium, and I gave you the raindrop example for that. So likewise I can give many examples for that, for dynamic equilibrium. So the best one more example I forgot to give you. The example is when you tie a stone. When you tie a stone to a thread, to one end of the thread, and drill it around you, and drill it around you. So what is happening here? Here different forces are acting on it, but it is moving with constant speed. So it is moving with constant. Why it is moving with constant speed? Because the different forces or the different moment of forces will cancel against each other, and the net effect of these forces will be equal to 0. So this is the best example I can give you for dynamic equilibrium. So summing up on what is equilibrium of bodies, let us see what are the conditions required for the body to be in equilibrium. The first condition, as we already discussed, that the net effect of all the forces acting on the body should be equal to 0. This is the first condition. The second condition is the algebraic sum of all the moments. Kindly note it, the algebraic sum of all the moments acting on the body should be also be equal to 0. So these are the two conditions for the body to be in equilibrium. What's the first one? The net effect. Net effect, this is the example. Net effect of all the bodies acting on the body should be equal to 0. So what is the second condition? The net moments of forces acting on the body should be also, the algebraic sum of all the moments of force acting on the body should be also equal to 0. For the second condition, let me take one small example and explain it to you so that you can understand better. I'll take one scale or a bar. I'll point it at the center, say here. Now let us say one force is acting in this direction on the left side of this pivot or axis. I'll take one more force. Let me try it as F2, which is also on the left side, and I'll take one more force, F3 and F4. So this is what direction is clockwise direction. This is clockwise direction. This is anti-clockwise direction. So these clockwise movements or anti-clockwise movements should be equal to the clockwise movements. Now let us see it. So let me say that this is L1. It is at a distance of L1 from the pivot, and F3 is at a distance from L3 from the pivot, and F4 is at a distance L4 from the pivot. Now what is moment of force of F1? So due to F1, the moment of force of F1 due to the pivot O, let me call it as O, is F1 L1. F1 L1. So F1 L1. So what direction it is? It is anti-clockwise. So I take it as positive. Similarly, this force is F2, L2, and This is clockwise, so I take it as negative F3 minus F4. So here what I have done, I have taken anti-clockwise direction positive here and clockwise direction negative here. Should be equal to 0. This is the condition. This is the condition for the body to stay in equilibrium. Means the moments of forces, that is anti-clockwise moments, should be equal to clockwise moments. Or I can put it in this way also: F1 L1 plus F2 L2 is equal to F3 L3 plus F4 L4. This is the condition. This is the condition for the body to stay in equilibrium. Means the anti-clockwise moment should be equal to clockwise moments. Why I have taken this example and why I explained it to you is, this is nothing but the one principle we have, that is called as principle of moments. So I will state the principle of moments here. For the body to stay in equilibrium, the anti-clockwise moment should be equal to the clockwise moments. This is called the principle of moments. See how we have come through. We have studied equilibrium of bodies. So by studying equilibrium of bodies, we came to the conditions of for the body to stay in equilibrium. When we were discussing about the conditions for the body to stay in equilibrium, we said that what is the first condition we took? The net effect of all the forces acting on the body should be equal to 0. This is the first condition we have taken. So what is the second condition we learned? Second condition we learned that the net algebraic sum or the algebraic sum of all the moments should be equal to 0. This is what we have done here. The net algebraic sum of all the moments should be equal to 0. We have done that. So this is the second condition for the body to stay in equilibrium. And from there we have come to the principle of moments. What is principle of moments? The anti-clockwise moments will be equal to, for the body to stay in equilibrium, the anti-clockwise moment should be equal to the clockwise moments about the power. So this is what we call it as principle of moments. Okay, now let us verify this principle of moments. Already we have verified this one. We have verified the principle of moments. So for the body now, if this is the condition, this condition is there, then this scale or this bar will stay in equilibrium or will stay static. So will stay static. So this is what we have verified the principle of moments. So this ends our chapter here. So what we have learned today? We have learned about equilibrium of bodies. What is the equilibrium of bodies? When number of forces are acting on the body and the net effect of the forces is equal to 0 and the body will stay in its own state, whether at rest or in motion, then we say that the body is in equilibrium. So in equilibrium, we discussed about two types of equilibrium. What are the two types of equilibrium? Static equilibrium and dynamic equilibrium. Static equilibrium, when a body is at rest, even after many forces are acting on it, then we say that the body is in static equilibrium. When the body is in motion and where the forces doesn't change the state of motion, then we say that as dynamic equilibrium. Then we discussed about two conditions for the body to be in equilibrium. What is the first condition? The first condition is the net effect of all the forces acting on the body should be equal to 0. That is the first condition. What is the second condition? The net moment or the algebraic sum of all the moments acting on the body about a point should be also be equal to 0. So these are the two conditions. Then we studied about principle of moments, where we studied that the anti-clockwise moment should be equal to the clockwise moments. That is nothing but the principle of moments. Then we verified. Now this body is in equilibrium. I showed you the verification that the clockwise moments will be equal to anti-clockwise moments when the body is in equilibrium. So this is what is our first unit what I have completed today. From last video and this video I have completed the first unit. So what we are doing now, we will be uploading the textbook or the first chapter, the first unit of first chapter in our WhatsApp group. I want all of you to go through that textbook if you don't have textbooks, and tomorrow, by tomorrow or day after tomorrow, we'll be uploading an assignment based on the whole chapter soon after I finish this chapter. So by that time you should be well versed with this chapter and you should be able to solve seeing the textbook. And you should show, every one of you should upload what work you have done in the group. We are opening it for all the members to upload the works, and soon after you come back to school, we start the physical classes, we will check each and every answer, whether your answer is correct or wrong, and any corrections we will be doing it then. And even after going through all this process, even if you have got any doubts, you can post it in the group and we will be answering those doubts. So this is the process we will be doing in physics. So this completes unit 1, and now I will be starting problems. I will be doing some 3 to 4 problems, and not more than that. When you come back here, I will be doing lots of problems once again. I will be completing the entire numericals. So what I am doing today is I will be posting this numericals page also to you. Now I will be just putting the number, I will write the problem and I will solve it. This is problem number 3 in your numericals. So I will be writing the problem here. Is it visible? If not, I will write it in bigger. Will you pause it otherwise? So this is the problem. So you have one wheel which is having a diameter of 2 meters. So the total diameter is 2 meters. A force of 2 Newton is acting at point B and is asking us to calculate the moment of force about O and about A. Now in the first case we should calculate about O, in the second case we should calculate about A. So here from this problem we can understand how to calculate moment of forces. See, here actually this is the axis, but he is asking us to calculate about A. Say if at all the axis is at A, then what will be the moment of force? This is the question he is asking. So let us first go to the first question, that is moment of force about A, O. So moment of force about O. Now what is the force we have? So that is force into distance. Moment of force about O force, that is distance from B to O. What is the distance from B to O? The distance from B to O, the total diameter is 2 meters, while the radius is here 1 meter. So what is the force we have? 2 Newton into 1. That is 2 Newton meter. So this is the moment of force about O. Next I go to moment of force about A. A is equal to, so what is the force? Force we have at B. What is the distance from B to A? It is 2 meters, right? So what is the force we have? It is nothing but once again F into R. So F is nothing but 2 Newton once again into R. Here R is 2 meters because the distance from A to B is 2 meters. Therefore it is nothing but 4 Newton meter. So this is the problem. This is over. This is the solution. So about O, we should take the distance from O. About A, we should take the distance from B to A. About O, it is B to. So this is the problem. Not possible. Okay. See, figure shows two forces, F1 5 newtons and F2 3 newtons, acting at points A and B respectively of a rod provided at O, such that OA is equal to 2 meters, this distance is 2 meters, and OB is equal to 4 meters, this distance is 4 meters. Calculate moments about O. Now, how many moments we have got here? One moment due to F1 and the other one moment due to F2 and the total moment of forces. So, we have got total moment of forces. Now, see here. Let us first calculate the moment of F1 about O. So let me put it here. Moment of F1 about O is equal to F1 into OA. So what is F1 we have? F1 we have 5 newtons. And what is OA we have? We have 5 newtons into 2 meters. That is 10 Newton meter. So what it is? Clockwise or anti-clockwise? What it is? It is anti-clockwise. 10 Newton meter anti-clockwise. That also should get the direction also. Now this is the first moment. What is the second moment? We have moment of F2 about O. So that is nothing but F2 into OB. So what is F2 we have? F2 is 3 newtons into what is OB? 4. So that is nothing but 12 Newton meter. So we have calculated two moments here, both the moments. Now I will wipe out this one and I will calculate the total moment here. Otherwise, I'll write it here. So therefore, total moment, I'll write it here. Total moment about O. So what we have here, the moment due to F1. The moment due to F1 we have? It is 10 Newton meter anti-clockwise. While F2 we got 12 Newton meter clockwise. So, total moment is equal to plus 10 Newton meter. Why I am taking plus here? Because this is anti-clockwise, and minus 12 Newton. Why I take a minus here? Because this is clockwise. Therefore, finally we will be getting it as minus 2 Newton meter. So, what does the minus indicate? It is nothing but 2 Newton meter clockwise. So this is how you solve the problem. Okay.